my name is Dani. I'm an art instructor, and you're tuned in to the Able Artswork Virtual Learning channel. Thanks for joining me today. Today, I'm going to show you how to make paper snowflakes that you can hang on your wall to get into the wintry spirit. For this activity, you'll just need paper and a pair of scissors. Now, it's important that we work with square pieces of paper because when we fold it up, it allows the shapes we cut out to be dispersed evenly across the form. But you probably have paper that looks more like this, rectangular. So I'm going to show you how to cut it into a square. You're just going to take the top corner of the page, pull it down to the left, so you can line up the top and the side of the paper until they are perfectly lined up. Then you're going to make a crisp fold, and you can cut off this lower rectangle. This is because squares have evenly lengthed sides, so we are just cutting off the excess length of this rectangle. Awesome. Plus, once we have that fold, that is the first fold that we'll need to make our snowflakes. So you can make that fold nice and crisp by pressing it down. Then we're going to fold it again, and at least one more time. Once you fold it too many times, it could get a little thick to cut, so that'll make it tricky. Now, so long as you don't end up cutting off an entire side, anything that you cut out is going to make a really cool snowflake. Because if you cut off the entire side, the whole thing will fall apart. So we're just going to mess around with the corners and the edges, and we can make lots of different kinds of shapes. So when you go to this one point, this is the center. You can tell because it doesn't have these corners flaring out, and this would be the edge of the page. And so I think it's fun to cut out the center part. I'm going to make a little triangle cut, and it's going to make a really cool shape because there's so many folds, so it's going to look more than just a triangle in the center. Now, you can also cut out arcs, and they will turn out as little circles. So I'm going to start cutting and turning my page, and that looks like just a semicircle, but when we flare out our snowflake, we'll have little circles all around the snowflake. So play around, cut off different parts, and you can do this multiple times. Make lots of different snowflakes so you can see what shapes you think came out really neat. Even in my intro, one of those was my first ones, and then I was like, maybe I'll cut out this other part of that other snowflake. See how that turns out. And they can all come out really different. So I'm going to experiment with doing a series of triangles. So I've got a little triangle here, and I'm going to make the next one bigger. I think that could look cool if they're next to each other. When you cut out triangles in this way, they'll turn into diamonds. So keep going until you've got a lot of different shapes cut out. And I will fast forward and just show all the different shapes I'm cutting out here, and then we will open it together. Alright, so let's open our first one and see what we got. Nice! So you can see when we cut out that triangle in the middle, it flares out across each of the folds. So I don't even know what to call this shape, but it kind of looks like a fancy star. all those little circles we cut are now spread across the shape, and when you cut the corners, they all come out looking pretty different. So let's do one more together, and then you can get to making as many as you want, and we can try making some different shapes this time. So I've got my square piece of paper, folding it across that fold that we made that first time when we cut down from the rectangle, folding it again, one more time. Now instead of cutting a triangle out of the center part, I think I will take my scissors and make that one round. So I'm just turning the page as I cut to give it a curve. Now let's try making different shapes too. For this corner part, I'm going to make that triangle that we put in the middle, but it'll look different when there aren't as many folds that we're cutting through. So we might end up with something really neat there. A lot of this is experimenting because it's hard for us to predict without having done it what it's going to look like. So we can have a lot of fun. So I'm going to fast forward and show all the shapes that I cut out. I am just going with circles and triangles, varying them across the shape. Alright, let's see what we've got here. Ooh. So this time I had made those big triangle cuts and they turned into huge diamonds. I really like how these little circles came out here. I hope you had fun making paper snowflakes with me. I hope that you made some shapes that you like. Check out the other videos on our channel about art, language, and music.